Now, across Central Oregon, these last couple of days, it has been unseasonably warm. The average high temperatures are usually in the 70s, mid to upper 70s on average, but we've been running in the 80s. That's because of a ridge of high pressure. This high pressure stays with us for a couple more days, but a bigger change up to the weather pattern is on the way. Hey everyone, I am Chief Meteorologist Darrell Whittinger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center. We're about to take a deep dive into your most reliable forecasts. Again, we're still under the influence of this broad ridge of high pressure, so when we look across the Tri-County area, we have tons of sunshine. Looking towards south, though, we see some additional clouds. In fact, looking at that bend camera, just to the right of Pilot Butte, you can actually see a thunderstorm cloud. Now, that is showing up on radar, and we have a couple of other things out there with bigger changes expected through the next few days. So let's go ahead and talk about the haze real quickly, then we'll get into the chance of rain. So there is some haze across the high desert with those winds out of the north, but our air quality has been sitting in the green. Hourly average, good air quality. Most of the sensors from eSpace are good as well, except for one in Madras. And when it comes to smoke, some coming from Washington fires and a few more fires still across the Tri-County, or just outside of the Tri-County area, will continue to impact us with periods of reduced air quality expected. Now, getting towards Sunday, we start to see the approach of our next system. That actually helps clear the air quite a bit, bringing some showers, just not widespread rain, not widespread thunderstorms, just a chance of some showers. Now, there has been in the last 12 hours a single thunderstorm producing less than a dozen lightning strikes, and that's mostly over the Newberry caldera. And here through the next couple of days, some thunderstorms are expected, but for the most part, they're going to be very hit and miss. We have a better chance at getting some light showers, but even that all not reaching the ground. So when we go ahead and look at satellite and radar, we do see that that thunderstorm has been pretty stationary over the Newberry caldera. There have been a few other areas of convection through the Cascades from Bachelor up through the Three Sisters, but we haven't seen much develop that's been pushing into the rest of the Tri-County area. So again, it is something we're continuing to watch. It's just really hasn't been that impactful here through the last couple of hours. Looking to our south over Klamath and Lake counties, there are a handful of some thunderstorms. None of these are being driven by any major system. So if some convection does pop up, it'll be orographically driven or driven based off of the land and how some of the orographic flows are going to bring those thunderstorms. But it really hasn't been too much of an impact through the day today, and our temperatures have been warm. It has even still been dry for most of the high desert. Now, when we look at satellite and radar, we see a pair of weak systems way offshore to our north and northeast. There's also a low further to the south. So let's switch gears. Let's look at infrared satellite imagery with an enhancement that really pulls out those tall clouds. And we can see that over the high desert and over south central Oregon, some of those thunderstorms have some of the brighter colors that are typically associated with this type of enhancement. Now, there is a low pressure that's right around Chico, between Chico and Sacramento is where the center of circulation of this low is. And it's just pushing to the north gradually. It's going to continue to do that, pushing up against the ridge of high pressure that's been bringing us the sunshine and warmth through the last couple of days, and it starts to break down that high. Also breaking down that high is a cold front that's coming in from the Gulf of Alaska. So when we look at the bigger picture, we do see this ridge of high pressure just south of that Gulf of Alaska low, and it was expanded into the Pacific Northwest all the way into BC, Canada as well. But because of the two different systems working on it from a couple different angles, it's actually starting to flatten. That means weaken over the high desert, and as it recedes back into the Pacific Ocean, that's going to open the door for more convection, more thunderstorm activity potentially, or even some showers. Really just an active weather pattern is on the way, and it starts with that low pressure system that's working its way up from California, and it ends with a cold front that's already taking shape out over the northern Pacific Ocean. That pushes through on Sunday. So let's go ahead and really get into some of the nitty-gritty numbers. Right now it's dry, not excessively dry like we saw earlier in the summer. Our relative humidity values measured in percent are ranging from 18% to 35%, so mostly sitting in the 20s. When it comes to temperatures today, we've topped out in the 80s with 91 in Warm Springs and a few 70s on the map. That is right on target with the forecast. This time yesterday I was saying we expect 80s with a few 70s and 90s out there, and this is exactly what I was thinking. It's still 91 in in Warm Springs. We also have 76 in Sisters and 79 in Sun River with 80s through most of the high desert. This actually represents not a huge move in our temperatures day by day. We're running between 2 degrees warmer and 4 degrees cooler than we were just 24 hours ago. So pretty close to where we were sitting yesterday. And tonight we fall back into the 50s with some 40s expected. By tomorrow we're topping out once again in the 80s with a few 90s not out of the question. So your weekend planner actually shows that by Saturday afternoon there is a chance of some showers. By Sunday off and on showers with PM clearing and much cooler. Our temperatures are falling below average and back into a more fall-like range. And remember, Monday is the fall equinox. It happens at 11:20 a.m. on Monday when we hit the equinox, but that's also when we start our next warming trend. However, we will be seasonal for Monday. We just warm up by Tuesday and Wednesday. So through this weekend, some showers, check, they are expected. Winds will be breezy at times. Times of clearing are expected with areas of reduced air quality. And here's how this plays out. We're tracking this cold front that's starting to dig in. Our high pressure will be receding, and we have this weak low that's moving north. So some showers are expected Saturday, mostly over south central and eastern Oregon. Some showers for parts of the Tri-County area, still highs in the 80s. By Sunday, 60s and 70s, and some showers push through, followed by PM clearing. And then by Monday, we're in the 70s with some 80s possible. So we already start to rebound pretty quickly with those high temperatures, but truly roller coaster temperatures are expected. We're going to be back in the mid to upper 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday, just before another series of weak systems starts to bring a gradual cool down into play. So enjoy Sunday with a few sprinkles possible. And really, we could see some early morning showers, maybe a couple bolts of lightning. But really through the day, we really start to see some of that clearing, additional sunshine through the PM hours. So a quick look forward all the way through Sunday at 11 p.m. Some showers are expected. Some of us will get wet, but it's not going to be everybody. So let's go ahead and time that out. Here through the overnight hours, we are expecting some in and out clouds. By Saturday, freeze frame. 3 p.m. Some showers showing up on radar just in our higher elevations and not through the 97 corridor where most of us are, or the Highway 26 corridor, or Highway 20 corridor, or really anywhere that's actually has a couple of locations. It's mostly going to be in the Badlands and in the highest elevations. Then by Sunday, that weak cold front pushes through, and then we start to get some clearing. Now, some sprinkles are expected, but the mountains absorb the majority of that moisture. By Monday and Tuesday, we are back to sunshine across not just the high desert, but the entire Pacific Northwest. Then when we go past that, starting with Tuesday, we keep that sunshine, and then going through Wednesday, some PM clouds, no rain in sight. By Thursday, mostly sunshine. And by Friday, a few PM clouds possible, but really just staying dry through most of the 7-day planner. Now, between now and Sunday at 11 p.m., we are looking at this chance of those showers. And when we just focus on when and where that's going to be, it's mostly going to be in the highest elevations, but some sprinkles are expected in our lower elevations. And going through Monday, we're really dried out. So gusts here in the last couple of hours haven't been too impressive, and actual wind speeds are about 5 to 15 miles per hour as well. And so here through the next couple of hours, it does get breezy at times. Overnight, we come back down to a gentle breeze as those winds swing around to the south. And then through Saturday and Sunday, winds are going to be breezy at times through the afternoon, getting into the evening, especially if any thunderstorm activity pops up on radar, and that's something we'll be tracking with you. So for tonight, 50s and some 40s, areas of haze, times of reduced air quality. By Saturday, still warm, even hot for some with scattered PM showers, just not really affecting everybody. And your 7-day planner shows where that weak cold front rolls through Sunday. Temperatures start to rebound when we change the calendar to fall. We're on our next warming trend, but highs will be near average at this time of the year on the equinox. Then by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday, mid-80s. Notice Wednesday and Thursday we get a dip in temperatures. That's because of a weak front, and then another weak front follows that up as we're wrapping up the work week and going into the weekend. Lows will be in the 40s for the most part, with a few 30s and 50s out there, especially by Monday morning. We could be actually looking at some frost on the ground and some areas of fog, and so that's something to keep your eye on. But other than that, we'll see you tonight on Central Oregon Daily News at 5 at 11 on ABC and at 6, 7 and 11 on CBS. Join us.